close my eyes and then I open them, he's still there. Yeah, you know, and I believe me, I know my husband is fantasizing. I'm sure he's bored, and I know he's fantasizing about the New York Yankees. But I don't really care, because when we're in bed together, I pretend I'm banging A-Rod. When I was in college, I dated a very quiet guy. The guy did not say a word, not a word. So I broke up with him. And then I found out that this quiet guy, this non-talker, gave a gift of $50 million to our school. And all I keep thinking to myself is I could have lived in silence. For that kind of money, I'd bang a corpse. I mean, that's not a problem. That would be fine. Yeah. But you know, my husband, really, he puts up with me. I don't cook, I don't clean, and I don't work anymore. And you know, really, what am I good for? I know what I'm good for. I can very easily get the sock that fell behind the dryer. That's pretty much my purpose. And he manscaped for me. He thought that he would get lucky. You know, I'm going to tell you something, gentlemen. I don't care if my husband looks like Smokey the Bear. Clean a toilet now and then. You'll get lucky, okay? All right, no problem. I guess you realize this. It's true. I've been short all my life. I've been short all my life. In case you didn't notice, I'm standing. Yes, I'm standing. And tall people, I really, sir, how tall are you? You look pretty tall. 6 foot? Yeah. The guy behind you, you look pretty tall, sir. Are you taller than that? 5'10"? God, you're not. I'm sure that there's some tall men here. 6'4". Where are you, Mr. 6'4"? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Are you with the blue shirt? You look like you're like 3 feet tall. Are you 6'4"? You must have legs from here to eternity. That's quite unbelievable. But look, you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, Mr. Longlegs, you and I could never, ever be friends. Never be friends. Because when I try to talk to somebody tall like you, I end up getting whiplash. You have to bend yourself like a lounge chair, and it doesn't work out. So just, I know you want me, but just forget it. You know, it's just never, ever going to happen. And tall people also, I find, talk to me like this. They talk to me in a little voice like this. And my mother used to say to me, she used to say, Joni, she said, I love your little shoesies. I go, Mom, I'm 59 years old, I call them shoes. Oh, you know, and when I was working, people thought, oh, you know, she's so little and cute, until I fired them. Yeah. And then they would say to each other, you want to hear something cute? That little bitch fired me, fuck her. So much for that. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about my kids. I've got a 27-year-old and a 22-year-old. And they're both boys. Anybody just have just boys in their house? Laugh it up if you have just, you have just boys in your house. What is your name now? Carmen. I don't know, do you ever feel, it's like, I sometimes feel resentful and outnumbered, you know? And I got a female dog, so I couldn't be the only bitch in my house. You know, it's just ridiculous. And I've got a son who goes back and forth to China very, very frequently. And he has a prominent nose. He takes after my old nose. And I used to worry about him a lot. You know, I used to worry about him a lot, being in China, very, very far away. And then I realized that I could always find where he is on Google Maps. But I don't know, you know, why he goes back and forth to China all the time. It just, you know, and then I realized, what, you know why? There must be a girl here, right? And I'm going to tell you something. I do not care if my son brings home a bayonet-toting, uniform-wearing, red card-carrying, chairman Mao-loving communist. I do not care, as long as she's from a nice Jewish family. I'll tell you a little bit about my mom. My mom is 87 years old, And she and I are very, very good friends. We do a lot of things together. We travel together, we go to the movies, she comes to some of my comedy shows, and I don't just think of her as my mother, I think of her more as a prop. And my mother is a very, very unforgiving person. She does not take prisoners. If she doesn't like you, if she's mad, she'll cut you out of a photograph in 2 seconds. A 5x7 becomes a 3x5. You know what I mean? Yeah, and if she likes you, again, it's too late because she's already put your head in the dumpster. So my mom and I, as I said, travel a lot together, and we went on a trip recently to Florida. Now, my mother has an artificial name. So whenever she goes, through security, she always gets stopped and frisked. This time, my mother goes right through, no problem. I take a look at my mother. She looks disappointed. I know what it is. My 87-year-old mother looks forward to getting felt up. So I go up to the TSA guy and I say, excuse me. I said, for $20, would you feel up my mother? He said, lady, for 40, I'll rock her world. Thank you so much. I'm Joan Weisblatt. You are such a wonderful audience. Are you guys ready for your next comedian? Oh God, now let's keep it then. Are you ready for your next comedian? That's what I like to hear. You may have heard your next comedian on Sirius XM Radio. He is the star of the web series Rose. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Kevin Israel.
Keep it going for Joan, everybody. Oh, yeah. How we doing, guys? Everyone doing good? All right, that doesn't sound good. That was... We might not make it. That was what that sounded like. What's going on, guys? My name's Kevin Israel. Someone came up to me after a show once and goes, Kevin Israel, is that your real name or is that your stage name? And I was like, yeah. Because when I was choosing stage names, I decided to go with the Jewiest name possible. It was Kevin Israel or Hebe Habinowitz, and I went with Kevin Israel.
Sorry, you can't get this right.
Here's a funny thing, though. The family name wasn't originally Israel. It was originally Israelovich. So my great-grandfather got here right before World War II. He was at Ellis Island filling out the little book. He decided to change the name to make it less Jewish. Yeah, so he changed it to Israel. I would imagine right around May of 1948, he looked at the newspaper and was like, shit, they're all gonna know. Trying to Jew down your name by changing it to Israel, it's like farting and trying to cover up the smell by shitting your pants. Are there any other Jews here? Any Jews? Excellent. This is going to be great. This movie just went from a comedy to a horror real quick. We got the Jew on stage. This is perfect. Have you all ever seen a Jew before? Is this it? You want to take a good look? You're like, oh, he looks just like us, actually. We should get a few of them in town. I hear they're good at taxes. Wow. I'm actually used to this, though. I grew up in a town where I was the only Jewish kid, so I became like the token Jew. One year in around 3rd grade, the teacher got up to the front of class and was like, class, quiet down. Quiet down. She had a microphone. She was like, tonight is a very special night. Tonight is the first night of Hanukkah. So we're gonna have our little Jewish friend, Kevin Israel, come up and tell us just a little something about Hanukkah. And I was in the back of class with my He-Man lunchbox going, Hanukkah? What the fuck do I know about Hanukkah? So I figured I'd just make it up. So I got up to the front of class and I was like, Hanukkah is a very special holiday to us Jews. It's a celebration of when Santa Claus kicked Hanukkah Harry out of Egypt. And for 40 years, the Jews strode across the desert until they came across a burning bush, which told them to go burn every damn Christmas tree out there. And your stockings, and your reindeer, your Santa Claus, and your holiday's so much better than mine. 8 days of fun, my ass. I get pencils and socks. It was real tough though, because the school's all white. So one year the teacher got to the front of class and she was like, class, quiet down. Tonight is a very special night. Tonight is the first night of Kwanzaa.
I actually kicked him out against me too much.
And little Kevin Israel's gonna come up and tell us something about Kwanzaa. And I was like, but I'm not black. She was like, shut up, it doesn't matter. Get ready next week for Ramadan, I'm sick of this shit. It's tough growing up Jewish though. I'm gonna say this on behalf of the Jews, all of you people. You guys win. Congratulations. You do, you win. Your holidays beat everything we got. And why? Because you're marketing geniuses with your holidays. If something's not fun, you just make some crazy shit up and sell it. I don't know, Easter's not doing too well. What do you got? What about a rabbit that shits colored eggs? Then you guys have to make everything fun and turn it into a celebration. Oh, a baby's born. What are we gonna do? We're gonna take him to church and dribble a little water on his head and then go have a party. Whee! You know what we do when a baby's born? Apparently you do. Has anybody here ever been to a bris before? It's sick. All the men stand in the back of the room like this. Nope. Nope. And all the women get up front as close as possible going, cut it, cut it. Then the rabbi gets up and he always says the same thing. Now, the baby's gonna scream a little bit, but it's just because it's cold and wet. What? Apparently this guy's never been kicked in the dick before. Cold and wet. This also happens at a bris. This actually happens. They take a little wine and they put it on the baby's lips. They put a little wine on the baby's lips and they say it's to numb the pain. Fellas, try something for me when you get home tonight. Have a shot of vodka. Hell, have 5 shots of vodka. Then walk over to your dresser, open up one of the drawers, stick your dick in it and slam it shut. Let me know if it numbed the pain. You guys are fun. You guys are fun. No, sir, you don't actually have to do that tonight. Don't worry. He's like, the Jew said to do it. I don't know. Sounds like it's gonna be painful. A lot of married couples in here. Married couples, round of applause. Where are married couples at? That was less enthusiastic than when I came on. So single people? Any single people? Oh, that was real. That was worse. Is anybody having sex in this room? Does anybody? Oh, there we are. There we go. All right, good. Good. And it sounds like you're all having it with each other right now. Which is cool. What you guys do out here? Who's been married here the longest? Anybody got 40 years? Anybody married 40 years? Anybody? Where? Where? In what quarter? Who, them? How long you got? This is when the fight breaks out. This is when well, I got paid already and just leave. How long over there?
40 years.
40 exactly? Can anybody top 40 years? 40, no, this is the auction part. This is... What do you got? 55? 55, hey, wait, shut up back there. 55 wins it. Give it up for 55 years. Where's the couple? Where is it? See that? Ma'am, are you black? Do you know where the fuck you are? Your husband is a very smart man. She was like, I'm going to the Sergeantsville Fire Department. He's like, fuck that. I'm about to be single. One. Really, guys? That's what you get? One? What, did that make you applicable for some federal aid or some shit? She's within the city border. We can build that road now. You guys really like the racist shit, which scares me. That concerns me. Is that all right? Who's here that's actually been married for a while that's with the person that they're married to? Who was back there with the 40 years? The Grizzly Adams looking sir with the silver beard? The silverback gorilla back there? You got 40 in? How did you guys meet? I'm sure that's gonna be. Was it a meeting or was it a kidnapping, man? Which one? Was it an abduction? How did you meet? What? High school? You gave up in high school, huh? What are you, her fucking spokesperson? I got this, don't worry. You shut up, I'm gonna handle the questions. You don't be talking to Jews. You know what happens with that. 40 years, that's great. 55, that's fantastic. My parents have been married for 56 years. Yeah, they hate each other. I don't think they ever liked each other. My dad has become a narcoleptic. He can fall asleep anywhere, anytime, doing anything. He comes home from work, sits down in his chair, and it's just... And the sight of my father asleep causes some chemical reaction in my mother's brain that makes her go completely insane. And she gets right up into his face and starts going, Sid, you're asleep. Sid, you're asleep. Sid. I'm like, Mom, holy shit, relax. He's tired, he worked all day, he's taking a nap. She's like, oh no, because if he's asleep, he's happy. It's very sweet, Mom. My mom's crazy. I had a cold a few weeks ago, so I call her up. She's like, oh, you're not feeling very well? Well, did you take your temperature? I was like, do we do that anymore? I thought that was just a way to find out if a kid was lying. Remember that when you were a kid, you were always rooting for 100? I used to hold the thermometer down by the heating vent. My mom would be like, you must be sick. He says 137. Hilarious. But my mom had to be like Dr. Quinn, medicine woman, and do it the most accurate way possible. Yeah. It was like prison break in my house when you got a cold. She took me to the doctor once, and I'm standing in the room with the doctor. He pulls out a thermometer. He's like, well, Kevin, we should probably take your temperature. I was like, whoa, doc, you're not meant to use Vaseline? And that day, I learned that Vaseline tastes like shit. I go home, I was like, Mom, you know they can do it orally now? She goes, maybe that's what they say, but it's not nearly as accurate. I was like, you know, Mom, I'm gonna take my chances. My parents are great people, though. I love my parents. I was a lawyer before I started doing this. Yeah, I know, that's what they say. Shows no ability to make life decisions whatsoever, right? And my mom was so excited when I became a lawyer. She wanted to tell everyone. My son, the lawyer, it's all she wanted to talk about. And then I started doing this, and now when people ask what I'm doing, she goes, oh, Kevin, he's dead. So, when I made the career switch, I know you guys are going to find this hard to believe, but working a fire hall in Sergeantsville doesn't pay quite as much as being a partner at a law firm. So I hit a bit of a financial rough patch, and my parents were there to help me out, and I moved back in with my parents. And I was 30 when I moved back in with my parents. But, to make it worse, my parents had just moved into a retirement development. Yeah, so I was that guy. And I worked at night, so I would just hang out with my mom during the day. I basically became an 80-year-old Jewish woman. We would just sit and watch her soap operas and do whatever the Golden Girls did. Like, that was just us. But every day, right around lunchtime, she would go to the clubhouse in this development where they would do activities. I never knew what they were doing there, but she would do whatever the other little old ladies were doing. And then she would come back and she would tell me the gossip from the community. She'd always want to share it with me. And one day she came back in and she goes, you know, there's rumors going around about you. And I was like, me? What are people saying about me? She's like, well, they're trying to figure out why you had to move home. I was like, what are they saying? She's like, well, one theory says that you had a nervous breakdown. And I was like, Jesus. And she goes, and the other theory says that you're a recovering drug addict. I was like, holy shit, well, did you tell them the truth? And she goes, what? And tell them you stopped practicing law to tell jokes? That would be embarrassing. But so while I lived at home, my dad didn't know what to do with me. He had no idea. So he would just come up with activities for us to do because he wanted to renew this relationship that we never had to begin with. So he would just come in sometimes with these. He came in once and he's like, hey Kevin, want to go to Costco and then go to lunch? And I was like, I guess that's just something we do now, okay. But it turned out I misunderstood him. What he said was, hey Kevin, want to go have lunch at Costco? Yeah. So what came next was us just walking around Costco, stopping at each of those little stations. I had some pasta, and I had some nuts, and I had some granola, and I had some juice. It was me and 7 80-year-old men just walking around Costco. It was like the senior citizen Olympics, just walking around. But what I came to find out is the reason my dad liked to do it so much is because he got to stop at all the stations and flirt with the little old ladies giving the stuff out. And it was the creepiest thing to see happen. He stopped at one station and she was giving out these little rolls. And he goes, hey Margaret, how's it going today? And she's like, my buns are hot as always, Sid. And I was like, holy shit. He stopped at another, she was giving out ice cream. He's like, how's the ice cream today, Gertrude? She's like, smooth like you, Sid. I was like, this is the worst day of my life. This is... At the third station, I was like, Dad, I'm gonna go get the food. He's like, why? I was like, because she's giving out almonds, and I don't want to know what she's gonna do with your nuts. My parents are great. My mom is crazy. Do we have a lot of crazy moms here? A lot of crazy mothers? Yeah. Look how proud they are. You're messing up your kids slowly, just so you know. What's that? What are you doing? What's this? What are you doing with your... Don't stop. The black lady's over there. You're embarrassing yourself. What are you doing? How old are your kids? They're how little? They're not that little. So you're really fucking up right now, because like you're probably still keeping them in diapers and nursing them. You're like, he still takes the nipple. The kid's like, Mom, I need to drive the car. Stop it. What's that? You're gonna home and nurse now? You should put that on tape, because there's guys out there that'll pay to watch that. She's gonna go home and nurse now. After she drank 7 beers, I gotta go home and nurse. So I want to give me some Jack Daniels. I want the kids to get fucked up. This is what's gonna happen. My mom's crazy. My mom is not. My mom is the most neurotic person in the world. And the problem is all of her little neuroses she just passed on to me very subtly. Like I have all of her problems in my head. Like here's an example. Here's something she actually used to do when I was a little kid. We would go to a restaurant if it was just me and her, and if she had to go to the bathroom, she would get up and she would hand me her purse and she would go, hold this so no one takes it. Because people will just take your purse, you know. And then she would just walk away. What kind of shit's that to do to an 8-year-old? So then I would just sit there clutching it, horrified, staring at each person going, is that the guy? Is that him? Which guy's gonna take it? Holy shit. And she'd come back and feel like I won a game. I'd be like, I still have it, Mom, look. Do you know to this day, if I see a woman walk away from her purse, I have a panic attack? And I just sit there and stare at it and think, oh my God, she doesn't know about the people. And I just stare at her. And sometimes I'll just reach out and want to grab it and protect it for her. And I'll go to do it and I'll think, oh my God, my mom was right. And it's me. She is crazy though. I was at the supermarket with her when I was living at home. And we were going to check out, so I went to the self-checkout line. You guys do the self-checkout? I like the self-checkout. I don't like talking to those people. I just like doing it myself. So we go to the self-checkout line, and I'm standing at the bottom to bag, and she's standing up top because I'm not paying for it. She's obviously paying for that shit. And she's just standing there, looking around with her credit card in her hand, just standing there. And I was like, "Oh, Mom, this is self-checkout. Just do it yourself." She's like, "No, I'll wait for someone to come do it for me." And I was like, yeah, that's not how it works though. You just do it yourself and it's faster. And she's like, I shouldn't have to do that. I don't work here. And I was like, yeah, we know you don't work here, Ma, but it's just a way they can hire less people. And just do it. And she looks me dead in the eyes and she goes, this is a terrible time to be alive. And I was like, well, that's a little dramatic now, isn't it? Here's something about my mother. My mother has lived through the Great Depression. She's lived through the Holocaust, World War II, Vietnam, Korea. She lived through 9/11. But the self-checkout line is what pushed her over the edge. That was it. She's had enough. So who are the single people here? Any single people? Who are the single? You're single, dude? Look at him, he's like, I'll admit it. Do you date? You date around? Sort of. You're not at the firehouse, though. You're not picking up a lot of ass at the firehouse. Although, there is a black woman here by herself. So if you're looking to check that off your bucket list, you might have a chance. I'm just kidding. I'm sure your husband is moving right now. How do you meet chicks? Where do you go to meet chicks? Bars? You just get fucked up and hope for the best? Look at all the old guys. That's what you do. That's right. Just look at this guy. He's like, that's what I did. Look at her. She's asleep. I don't even know. Is there anybody here with a date? Anybody here with somebody they're dating but not married to? Anybody here? Oh, you guys? You looked at him and you're like, you asshole. Have you seen what he's been doing? Do you know what he's gonna do to us now? How long have you guys been dating? 10 months? Wow, you had that on the button too. You were like, I'm ready to answer questions too. I have studied and prepared. How'd you guys meet? Tinder. Good for you, admit it. Which is awesome, because now I get to explain to all the old people what Tinder is. For everybody who doesn't know what Tinder is and is with somebody they love, remember back in the day when you would see a woman and you would go up to her and you would tell her that you want to take her out, and then some romantic courting would happen, and you would go out on multiple dates and maybe you would finally get to kiss her, and then you would meet her parents and all that. Well, Tinder said, fuck that. All you need to know is what this person's face is, and then you decide if you want to have sex. That's what romance has been turned into in 2016. You just start swiping through faces until you find one you like, and then you go, I want to bang her. And 10 months later, there they are. Well, good for you. Tinder's like a game, though. Like you start to forget things are actual people, and you're just like, oh God, all right, I'll admit you, I'll try her. Sure. I've done that before. That'll be a good time. Tinder, so it's going good, 10 months? It's going good? Do you guys like live together or anything? That was weird. He said no, but she was like, well, he doesn't pay rent, but he won't fucking leave, is the problem. 10 months? 10 months. Hey, 40 years ago, Silverback, 40 years ago. You remember the first 10 months? That was the exciting time, right? It was new and exciting. Just learning about each other, just figuring each other out. Why do you talk? Those ladies are so drunk over there. They're like, he hasn't talked to us once. What do you have to say? You're whose daughter? Silverback? Okay, I don't give a shit. Here's a secret. Most likely, I'm never going to see any of you people again. Probably, this is going to be the extent of our relationship. Although I'm going to follow a Tinder couple because I want to see how that fucking disaster goes. But other than that, oh, it's new and exciting. You're just learning about each other. Everybody was in a relationship. Everybody's married for a while. Look at the person you're with, and think back to when you were with the person for only 10 months. You're just learning about each other, just figuring each other out. That was exciting, new. You know, she's trying to figure out, does he have a good job? And he's just trying to get laid. She's trying to figure out, is he close with his mother? Is he a family man? and he's really just trying to get laid. She's trying to figure out, is he the one? Could this be it? Is this the one? And he's trying to figure out, is she psycho? But seriously, am I gonna get laid? I was dating one girl for about 3 weeks, and I finally got her back to my house. We're sitting in my bed, at that moment where clothes were gonna come off. And suddenly she looks at me and she goes, could you turn out the lights? I was like, turn out the lights? I just invested 3 weeks of my life into saying, your tits, I ain't turning shit out. And if I did, the camera wouldn't pick it up. She goes, I'm shy. Ladies, let me explain something to you, and I mean this. The first time you take your shirts off in front of us, the last thing we're thinking about is any fat or moles or discoloration. In fact, the most we can muster in our tiny little brain is... awesome. And you guys don't get it. Whether we've been with you for 3 weeks or 40 years, every time you take your shirt off in front of us, we become a 12-year-old boy. She keeps doing it. Turn out the lights. We're so different, right? Guys will get naked at the drop of a hat. We don't give a shit. We could be on the highway in the middle of December with you. You could be like, I think I want to give you a blowjob. We're like, awesome, right here. Absolutely. No, I'm not waiting to go home. You want to put up curtains by then or something? Mom, get the camera. But the thing about men and women is we were educated differently about sex. We were brought up differently to think about sex. Run with me on this one. Women have been prepared for the penis since day one. Lollipops, popsicles, bananas. First time a guy takes his pants off, the girl's like, oh, I know this one. But guys, we have no friggin' idea what's going on down there. Best thing we got was in around 6th grade, a gym teacher took us into some back room somewhere, put up a poster of something looked like a Klingon warship. I don't know, fellas, good luck. Then we don't experience it for real till 5, 6 years later. It's the middle of the night, we're in the back of your car with our hands jammed down your tight-ass pants, feeling around. Suddenly we touch something that feels like a wet peach. What the fuck is that? That was not the diagram. I'm looking for a man in a boat or a pea in a pod or something. But you women are partial to blame for our ignorance because you don't tell us when we're doing something wrong. You just suffer through it. The next day you get together with all your little friends and you make fun of us. I don't know what he's doing. He just keeps poking and poking and poking.